Yeah, so let's begin. Let's take a minute to begin to settle into your presence, settle into presence itself, remembering that it's not an activity that we actually need to do. It's more an orientation of our mind towards what it is that is us, and is as us, and is eternal. And as we turn towards this beautiful presence, we also recognize that we're all gathering as a presence of love, that's the most basic foundation or aspect or quality of our being. So as we just begin to settle, to move with the natural movement that all of life has, to move towards the source of itself, then we allow the settling to take place naturally. We allow the sound of silence to begin to open and emerge within us naturally, to begin to fill in the spaces that our thinking mind normally attempts to fill. And we bring a bit of awareness to our breath. We don't have to bring all of our focus to the breath, but just a small percentage of it. And as the breath arises and releases, we become aware of the arising and the falling away of each moment into what is timeless, arising out of what is timeless. So we feel the breath and we feel the preciousness of each moment arising as if a brand new canvas comes into the screen of our soul with each new moment and then releases. As we feel the experience of each moment arising with each breath. So we don't visualize it with our mind, but we actually sense it. Sense the arising of experience and the falling away of experience. The rising of experience is this moment, and the falling away of the experience of the last moment. And as we notice this, we also become aware that it needs nothing from us. It arises naturally out of the mystery. And it returns to the mystery. arises as a moment, it returns to eternity. And we can also become aware that this breath that we feel as our own experience is part of all of being, breathing as one. So we're joining as a presence of experience, breathing as one. And we let our sensation of the breathing deepen as it extends into Pachamama. As we breathe with Pachamama, and we ask her permission to be with her in this way. We can use our personal will to move this body if we need to adjust it so that it feels comfortable and supported. Even then, we can ponder what is it that actually creates the moving and the cessation of moving. If we let go of feeling ourselves as the originator and allow our experience to sense into the subtle movements within us as our co-creative experience. Feeling into what it is that actually arises as the impulse to move and as the cessation of movement. The arising of experience, the dissolving of experience. the sensation of aliveness, the dynamism of being. Eternally present and experienced as presence. And just to feel in this moment, are you moving out towards life, or is life moving towards you? As we feel the beauty of nature all around us now, we might notice that nature doesn't demand that we open to it. It invites us to open to it, to receive it, to be part of it, to allow the experience of the beauty, the movement, the smells, the flavors, to open within us. Just as the beautiful beings of the forest, the trees and the plants stand present. Nature moves towards them and through them. Nature moves towards us and through us as we open to it. In the silence, in the stillness, permeate the movement, permeate the sounds, the smells, the tastes. As we take our place within this beautiful web of life, the presence offering itself as this moment to the goodness of all being. We take our place in the world of form We open to our ancestors and greet those who've passed on and join us in the more subtle dimensions. Taking a moment to honor those who've passed on as we feel the presence of their spirit, their essence, that lives within us and within everything. We open and receive the gift of this very unique and beautiful form of consciousness that has graced our path. And we welcome the presence of the guides, the angelic presences, the masters, who are also part of this fabric of one being that we belong to, that we are brought into aliveness through. Each of us a point of light, radiating into the everything. And as our bodies settle and our mind follows the settling of the body, we can be witness to this point of light being awakened. Not only being awakened within the one you call you, but being awakened within humanity, its true nature. Not awakening to something new, but awakening to itself. Just as the plants move towards the light of the sun, the point of light is our true identity moves toward the source of its light, reaches for it. Living within the heart, it reaches with a longing to be joined with the beloved. Just as we open to receive the gifts of nature, we open with awareness to feel the movement of our own inner light opening to the source of itself, moving towards the source of itself, always. Recognizing itself. If we stay with the experience of this, we can even recognize, sense that it has an inner guidance. Something within this point of light that knows where it's going, knows what it wants, what it needs, what it is. There's an inner intelligence. That if we follow this inner guidance, always takes us to the source of our being. Within this experience is also the aspect of truth. That's the experience of this point of light, is that it not only knows the truth of itself, but it is the truth of itself. Which opens us to another quality of the point of light, which is its integrity. The quality that we can feel. When we feel the integrity of our inner being, we also feel its wholeness, its completeness. Because to feel the integrity of something, we feel its completeness, its nature. Which then leads us into the knowing that the point of light that is our true identity, our true self, is indestructible. And as these qualities emerge within us, they bring us to something that also shows us that whatever this is made of, whatever we are made of, is inherently good, positive. Born out of a goodness that all of these other qualities are faces of. And we can also experience that this point of light is aware. It has a quality of awareness that can be felt, experienced. It's not only aware of what moves through as consciousness, but it's aware of itself, of its existence, as a point of existence. We are a point of existence. That is aware of itself. And awareness itself. The more deeply we enter into this pure awareness, the more we can realize that while it is living in this body, in the world, it's not of the world. It exists everywhere and in everything. But as we're living in the world, we can also recognize that it has a capacity for enjoyment, that within it is a quality of pleasure. The pleasure of knowing itself in all of the many forms that we meet within the nature of Pachamama. that it can experience joy and tenderness and warmth. Within its dynamic nature, it has strength and steadfastness. But as it expresses itself from the heart of itself, one of its deepest qualities is beauty. It arises through us from the formless and emerges as poetry, as music, as the visual arts. All emanating from the beauty of this point of light. So it's one of the deepest ways of reconnecting with what's eternal in us, is to bring our awareness in the world to what is beautiful. And to open and allow the beauty that is within each of us the room to flower, to be seen. In whatever form that arises in us, whether it's the connection of love with another, the tenderness of compassion, the beauty of a poem, or a word, or the silence. Or the stroke of a brush. Beauty flows through the movement of life. True beauty is never held within a concept. It's fluid, it's open, it's expressive. Just as our own nature is in a constant state of movement when we allow ourselves to enter the stream of our beauty. Everything within us flows. Everything within us lets go of restriction, barriers, boundaries. As the beauty of our nature opens within us, tension dissolves. Questions drop away. Fear subsides. Self-concern relinquishes. Something else comes into being as us. That needs no identity, no self-image. We are the movement of life. We are the creation coming into being as this moment, in this moment, all of its potential, all of its possibilities is a mystery. Who am I? In this moment, I am beauty. Regardless of whether we understand the greater movements of that beauty within the universe, all of the movement is beauty. Everything is ultimately moving towards the source of itself. And we return to the breath, which allows us to feel the unending movement and flow of life as beauty arising as this moment, dissolving into the mystery. As our hearts open to each other, we feel the beauty of our own being flowing out and around this circle, passing from one heart to the next, weaving this tapestry of color, of sound, of light. The threads of which extend far back through the DNA of our ancestors. To the very beginnings. So this tapestry is not only woven of this group of people that we're gathering as a circle of tonight, but all people, all beings, all medicine carriers, and all of their ancestors. Beauty. The beauty of the Creator, of the Beloved, in a constant state of creation, of which we are a part, of which this point of light is the gift of being aware of itself within it. This beauty that is eternal, we can contemplate in its fluidity, its ever-changing forms and colors. As I leave this life form, what will my beauty flow into? Where will it find its movement, its home, its radiance? As it continues from one breath of this life, of this body, and as the body takes its last breath, where will my beauty find itself? Brings us to another quality of the point of light, which is wonder. What will I be drawn towards? Where will the nature of my being reach for? How big is the possibility of what this beauty can become when it leaves the finite world and moves into the infinite world? Still knowing itself, still experiencing the source of itself. It's only in our finite mind that we lose the comprehension that we are already a universe, a cosmos, a galaxy. But as our mind quiets and we enter the experience of this arising and falling away of each canvas that we call a moment, we're already existing in our eternity, in our eternalness. And so this beautiful emanation of light, a flow of love, is both the origin of poetry and the expression of poetry. It's also the profundity of silence, the beauty of silence and stillness. And all of that is incorporated with the feminine aspect of ourselves. As we come to know our experience in this unique and individual way, as this unique and individual point of light, the other half of our experience is what we call majesty. The two going hand in hand, beauty and majesty, Shakti and Shiva. So to know the radiance, the magnificence of heaven on earth as this point of light, as this jeweled being that we are, is to know the marriage of our beauty and our majesty. Within the majesty of our being, we feel the integrity, the uprightness, the magnificence. With this awareness as we enter the sensation of the breath, we can notice that the breath itself contains this quality of majesty. This moment, this experience, arising as you and only you. As you take your place within this world of humanity, within your life, this moment, you matter. So as we open to the transformation in its true beauty of humanity, we take our place recognizing that the beauty and majesty of this point of light that we call I or me matters by its very existence. And just as last week, we sit in that awareness, knowing that our presence is offering itself for the well-being of the one. We expand upon that this week to recognize what, in fact, this presence is offering. So our soul is both a receiver of the intelligence, a generator of the intelligence, the wisdom, the consciousness of our true nature. But the movement of life through this presence is weaving the deeper nature of our beauty and our majesty into the consciousness of the collective. So let me simply be the vehicle through which this mystery is functioning. Not as duty, but as freedom, another one of its qualities. The most direct way of aligning with this is by opening to our inner beauty and the beauty that's all around us. Which is seamless, interconnected, in a constant state of interplay. We are the song of creation. Singing itself home in all of its possibilities. As we come into these last few moments together tonight, and allow ourselves to open in this particularly beautiful time of the year to the flourishing of Pachamama's beauty. That even in these challenging times is arising pristinely. We say thank you. To the beauty that flows through the streams of the DNA of our ancestors and through us. We feel the goodness of the essence through which their being was made. And we feel it as part of us, flowing through us, flowering through us. We say thank you. To all of our apus, the spirits of the land, whose beauty we recognize in those ways that we experience nature as sacred, sacred places, places that our feet have touched the soul of Pachamama and been touched by her. We say thank you. To our teachers and guides, both those in form, the angelic presences, the masters, all those energies and forms of beauty that have touched us in ways that have pointed us in the direction of the source of our beauty and continue to guide us through the beauty of the heart. We say thank you to each other in this circle. In all the circles that we have belonged to and are connected with, whose deepest longing is to meet in love and connection, to foster what it is that is the most precious in the human heart. We say thank you. And as we turn towards this presence that we recognize through the form of this body, this life, its history, the joys, the suffering, and everything in between, all part of the beauty of the movement of creation. We say thank you. Now.